A young woman stood alone in a crowded parking lot, still wearing her navy blue paramedic uniform, tears streaming down her face. Just minutes earlier, her blind date had smiled when he saw her from a distance, but the moment he noticed her uniform, he quietly turned around, got back into his car, and drove away without saying a single word. She thought her heart couldn't break any further, until another stranger walked toward her. If you believe in kindness, forgiveness, hope, and second chances, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel. Every act of support helps our community continue sharing stories that remind us love often appears when we least expect it. Rowan Fletcher had almost skipped the restaurant that afternoon. After years of running a successful landscape design company, his friends insisted it was finally time to stop living only for work. Reluctantly, he accepted a blind date arranged through mutual friends. As he parked his truck, he noticed a woman standing several rows away beside a silver sedan. She wasn't waiting casually. She was trying desperately to hide her tears. Her name was Alara Whitmore, a dedicated paramedic whose life revolved around helping strangers survive their worst days. She had come directly from an emergency call, still wearing her uniform because there hadn't been time to change. She had sent a message explaining she might arrive dressed for work, and the man had replied that it wasn't a problem. Yet the moment he recognized her uniform, he simply left. Rowan wasn't the man she had been waiting for, but he couldn't ignore someone in obvious pain. Keeping a respectful distance, he gently asked whether she was all right. Embarrassed, Alara tried to smile and insisted everything was fine, but her trembling voice betrayed her. She finally admitted what had happened. She laughed bitterly through her tears, saying perhaps some people wanted someone whose life looked easier, someone who didn't spend holidays inside ambulances or birthdays comforting frightened strangers. Instead of offering empty sympathy, Rowan quietly said something she would never forget. He told her that anyone who walked away because she spent her life saving others had walked away from the best person he could have ever met. The words weren't rehearsed. They were simply honest. After a moment of silence, Rowan pointed toward the restaurant entrance and admitted he had also been stood up. His own date had cancelled only minutes before arriving. Since both had unexpectedly lost their lunch plans, he wondered if they might share a meal instead, not as a replacement for anyone else, but as two strangers who deserved better than disappointment. For the first time that afternoon, Alara genuinely smiled. Lunch felt surprisingly effortless. Rowan spoke about designing public parks because he believed beautiful outdoor spaces help families heal after difficult times. Alara shared stories, not about dramatic rescues, but about elderly patients who simply needed someone to hold their hand during frightening moments. Neither tried to impress the other with achievements. They spoke honestly about loneliness, responsibility, and the quiet sacrifices people rarely noticed. As they finished dessert, a little boy suddenly tripped near the restaurant entrance, scraping his knee badly against the pavement. Before anyone else reacted, Alara rushed over. Even though she wasn't on duty, instinct took over. She cleaned the wound using supplies she always carried and comforted the frightened child until his mother arrived. Rowan watched from a distance. He didn't see someone wearing a uniform. He saw someone whose heart naturally chose compassion before convenience. Weeks passed, yet neither forgot that afternoon. They began meeting for coffee after Alara's shifts whenever schedules allowed. Sometimes Rowan packed lunch and they ate in city parks he had helped design. Other times Alara visited community gardens Rowan restored with neighborhood volunteers. Their friendship slowly deepened. One bright Saturday, Rowan invited Alara to help renovate a neglected playground beside a children's hospital. Volunteers painted benches, planted flowers, and repaired broken swings. Alara spent hours laughing with children recovering from illnesses while Rowan quietly admired how easily she made strangers feel safe. Late that afternoon, an elderly volunteer collapsed from heat exhaustion. Panic spread through the crowd, but Alara calmly organized everyone, checked his condition, and instructed others how to help until the ambulance arrived. The doctors later confirmed that her quick actions had likely saved his life. The elderly man's daughter found Rowan afterward with tears in her eyes. She thanked him for inviting the paramedic who had given her father another chance to watch his grandchildren grow. Driving home, Rowan realized something important. The uniform another man had rejected represented courage, sacrifice, and extraordinary kindness. Months later, Rowan organized a charity fundraiser supporting emergency responders suffering from stress and burnout. He refused to make himself the center of attention. Instead, he invited paramedics, firefighters, nurses, and volunteers to share stories of hope. When Alara arrived, she was overwhelmed. Hundreds of community members applauded those who spent their lives protecting complete strangers. Many admitted they had never fully appreciated their sacrifices until that day. As the event ended beneath warm afternoon sunshine, Rowan thanked everyone for reminding the community that heroes rarely wore expensive suits. Sometimes they arrived wearing stained uniforms after the hardest shift of their lives. He then turned toward Alara. With gentle honesty, he admitted that meeting her had changed how he measured success. Business achievements suddenly felt smaller compared with a life devoted to helping others without expecting recognition. Instead of offering flowers or expensive gifts, Rowan handed Alara a small framed photograph. It showed the exact parking space where they had first met. Beneath the picture were simple words. "The place where someone else walked away became the place where my life finally began." Tears filled Alara's eyes once again, but these were tears of healing instead of heartbreak. The following spring, they partnered to create a non-profit organization building peaceful healing gardens outside hospitals, rehabilitation centers, and emergency clinics. Rowan designed every landscape while Alara organized volunteers and support programs for exhausted medical workers. Together, they transformed empty spaces into places where families found comfort during life's hardest moments. Years later, people often asked them how they first met. Neither talked about the blind date. Neither mentioned rejection. Instead, they smiled and said their story began because one person judged a uniform, while another chose to see the heart wearing it. Sometimes life's greatest blessing arrives disguised as someone else's mistake. The people who leave make room for the people who are meant to stay, and the doors that close often lead us toward a future more beautiful than anything we had planned. Before this story ends, leave a meaningful comment and tell us, do you believe true love begins when someone sees your heart instead of your appearance or profession? If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another emotional journey. May we all learn to value kindness above appearances, because the strongest hearts often wear the simplest uniforms.